And we are back, guys. Welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. It's been a while that I've been out of action. As you guys know, my laptop went in for repairs. It's still actually in repairs at the moment. I had to do a whole lot of things to clear up an old computer and try to get it to work and get my camera to work and everything to work again so that I can continue these live streams. It has been painful being away from you guys so long, and I think that this is a perfect time, obviously, to start with a whole lot of things that we can discuss on this particular show. There's so much that has happened in the time that we've been away. Obviously, the India tour, South Africa A batting, is under 19, and so much more. We're going to discuss everything on this particular show. I'm even going to give you guys an opportunity to ask me questions as well on the show, so that we can catch up because it's been a while since we've been live here on YouTube. But before we get going, before we get started, there's actually just one thing that I need you guys to do for me, and that is subscribe to the magazine, please. This is where that something that we've consistently been putting out, and the latest issue is still available for you guys to download as we work on the next issue. That's a season review, of course, but there's also a look a little bit into the future, and we're going to continue doing those narratives as well in the next issue that we're going to bring to you guys. So the latest issue is out for you guys to download. It's 100% free, straight to your inbox every single month. Link is on the screen as well as in the description, so go ahead and do that for me, guys, please, because it really really helps us. That's the one list that we're trying to build, and we're trying to get more of you guys onto that subscriber list as well. So please get involved over there. We would really really like you guys to do so. That is something that we obviously keep very close to our heart. And obviously, you guys know that you're on YouTube over here, so you need to subscribe as well to the channel and click that notification bell for all future videos, please, and smash that like button. But I don't want to keep you guys too long. Let's get straight into today's video. I'm looking forward to being back here with you guys and discussing cricket once again in South Africa. Let's get it. A very good evening and welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your daily show. We are back after a long time away. I just want to give you guys a quick update on what happened. So, my laptop where I do all my streaming on crashed. I took it to Apple. I took it to a recommended company that they also sent me to, and they couldn't help me. The cost of the repairs was going to be ridiculous, and I couldn't get them to fix it for me for the price. That might as well have just bought a new laptop. So I was trying to get that fixed so that I can be back live with you guys again. And it's still not fixed, actually. I took it to a different place that gave me a better rate, and they're busy fixing it at the moment. I had to get an old computer, clean it up so that I can get the software on here and get it running smoothly and make sure that the camera works and the mic works on the laptop. And now I am back. And a lot has happened in the time that I've left, guys, and then I wasn't around. But we're going to be bringing you your daily show as per usual from now going forward, and until I can't anymore, of course. But I mean, I'm going to keep on doing it. I will never stay away from you guys for so long for no reason. So please understand, and I'm thank you to all of you guys for understanding and coming back on the live stream right now with me, even though you guys are here. I see a couple of your comments. Let me start by this reading out your comments first because I haven't been here for a while. Ikram saying, yeah, Khalid is back. Yes, thanks, bro. So where were your shows? I've just explained that. Is it live? It's finally done. Yes, it is live. We're back again. Faraz saying, so I want to help your channel. How can I help you? Just support. Send it to as many people as you can. Become a Patreon. That's also a way that you can help, because that's the way. Then I won't be sitting with a dilemma if something gets broken or something needs to be fixed, that I have to first save up and raise funds, because obviously that's what I'm going to have to do if anything goes wrong. So become a patron today. That is really a way you guys can help. The link is on the screen as well as in the description over there. That's a way you guys can help. And also just support us. Send it to as many South African cricket fans as you know. Let them subscribe to the channel and smash the like button and share our content. And that's something that's the one way you guys can help us over here. Ikram says there are a lot of South Africans playing in the major cricket league. Are you following it? Yes, we are following it. We are currently trying to keep up with that as well. Abai is actually keeping an eye on that, and he's going to be bringing you guys reports for those games when there is a summary to give. He's going to be summarizing those games and giving it to you guys as well, because you have to go to cricketfanaticsmag.com for that. We will be bringing them up on the show as well when we get an opportunity. If there's something that really stands out, like obviously David Miller's amazing innings in that first match was phenomenal, and that is something worth talking about. So we're going to be covering that on cricketfanaticsmag.com. So please go ahead and follow us over there, and go read our reports, because we do give summaries over there as well. Sharada says, will Gerald be in the World Cup squad for 2023? We are hoping for that, because we do need outright pace in that lineup. We're going to be talking a little bit about his performances in the SAA. And there's an exclusive from Shukri Conrad in our next issue of the magazine. So if you subscribe now, you'll get the notification to your email to tell you guys when the next issue is available. And we are working on that right now. At the end of this month, we'll be publishing that issue. And Shukri actually speaks about that as well. So that's something that we're also going to be chatting about in the next issue. So you'll see what Shukri had to say and what his analysis of the SAA tour is as well, because we're going to be talking about that on the show as well. So welcome back, Khalid. We have so much to talk about, bro, and this is the show to do it. Khalid, next time like this happens, please arrange a backup laptop. It was a very long break, and that's what I've done right now. I've set up this one. This is actually the backup laptop that I'm using currently. So I had to first get it sorted out so that I could do this live show. There's so much to talk about in international cricket. Yes, there is. So I only 2 tests against India in South Africa. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. A year for the under 19 chat, says Lubabalo. I had to refresh my Wi-Fi to see you were really live. Welcome back. Thank you, Lawrence. I'm back. Yes, I'm back. So let's get into the discussions and into all the main topics on this particular show. First and foremost, I'm going to start with the SAA tour, because it's something that it's obviously a long time ago now that has happened, but I think it's still worthy to talk about, because we haven't really got an opportunity to speak about that. So as you guys know, South Africa to travel through Sri Lanka. Now, in the 3-match List A series, South Africa won 2-1, which was a very interesting one. I actually expected them to win the first class series and actually just and I didn't actually think they would win the List A series. I thought they will with the team that they had, but it worked in reverse. The Sri Lanka played really well in the first class series as well, but there's a lot for us to talk about with regards to that and performances. So I think let's start with the List A series, because I was quite impressed by a couple of things. We saw something different implemented, particularly in the List A games. So when you go to the List A games and you check out the lineups, which I think is very important to start with everything over here. South Africa obviously won the first List A game. But what was interesting to me was particularly the batting lineup. And we saw here Jordan Herman. Now, I caught Jordan Herman at the CSA Awards, and I had a little chat with him off the record about everything and about how he's feeling and about the tour. He did tell me that he'll make himself available for exclusive chat on YouTube when we are available. So I'm going to try to get him this week. I'm going to speak to him and see if he's available on Wednesday, so that we can get his insight into the tour as well, to see what he learned, because he didn't have a very good tour, and he admitted that to me off air. But what interested me was Keegan Peterson getting an opportunity at number 3, and he did well. 42 of 39 balls. He didn't get that 50. Once again, not converting. I think that's been a problem for Keegan consistently across international cricket so far. Whenever he gets an opportunity to convert, he hasn't necessarily done so. He gets his 15 tests as well, and then he doesn't convert to 100. So doing something similar now with regards to this, getting that 42 but just not getting over that line. Matthew Brzeski at 4, and then Senator Mutasami got an opportunity at 5, which was interesting. Sinitem Klashile got an opportunity, but the standout of the year was this partnership by Deva Brevas and Bayer Swanepoel. I think we did cover this and speak about this on a show because a little bit earlier on, because I was still alive at that time. But it was a magnificent performance from Deva Brevas in a position that was something different. And Shukri has always said that he wants to give Rob some headaches with regards to this and test him in like a seven position to test his skills, particularly his power hitting skills, which he does clearly have. So in that match, we learned basically a lot from the batting department and from the bowling department as well, with Deva Brevas taking one for 40. That was something interesting to see him bowl as well. But Lutus Apamla stood out there before he picked up an injury as well on this tour. But it was good to see the power hitting of Swanepoel, that he was also capable of using that strength of his that we know that he has. And the ability was clear to see in this particular match. He showed that he can maybe bat in that eighth position for in a, and really show free his arms. In fact, we're getting Bayer Swanepoel tomorrow evening on the show. We're going to be talking to him and to get his insight on this tour, and also to speak to him about the awards that he won at the CSA Awards. I did see him at the CSA Awards. Obviously, Cricket South Africa sending me to the awards to have an opportunity to experience it live, the first live one after COVID, which was a real honor to be there. We'll talk about the CSA Awards a little bit later, but just to let you guys know, we will have Bayer Swanepoel on the show tomorrow to discuss that a little bit further. Then moving on to the next game, um, the the second unofficial ODI, Sri Lanka won that one. And it was a bit of a disappointment because South Africa batted first, but they really didn't come to the party. But once again, they only scored 175 in that game. But once again, there were two standout performances with the bat. This time, Tristan Stubbs got an opportunity and he scored 59 of 88 balls. But Gerald Coetzee was by far the standout in this game, 77 of 89, showing his batting ability. Now, Shukri Conrad does speak about it in our next issue of the magazine. So I want to keep those quotes for that particular mag so you guys can have a look and see what he had to say about this tour and about Gerald Coetzee, because that is an interesting one, because I think that the national sides, both in the test arena and in the one day arena or ODI arena, are looking for those positions to fill, those bowlers that can bat, those bowlers that can bat deep, so that we can bat a lot deeper and play a more aggressive brand of cricket right until the 8-9 position. I think that's something that they're really hoping to build and create. Um, so that was good to see that another person performed and another bowler performed in that position over there. So that was a standout performance over there. Obviously, Sri Lanka, I mean, the opening batter, Nishan Madusaka, he was just brilliant. Oh, sorry, Madushka, not Murasaka. He's not the Japanese. He's Madushka. 107 of 85 balls. Brilliant from him. And the bowlers never really came to the party over there once again. I think that was the one thing throughout this tour that we can maybe say we were disappointed with. I think that the bowlers never really showed consistency over long periods of time throughout this tour, whether it was in the 4-day competition or whether it was in the 4-day competition, 4-day series, or whether it was in the list day series. They never really showed consistency for long periods of time. And I think that is actually interesting because it shows also the levels of domestic cricket as well. I think they need to go back to domestic cricket and try to get those consistencies within spells, like work on their bowling in short spells over a period of time or longer spells, and getting that consistency domestically, because that will really help. I don't think it's a problem of execution, pace, accuracy with regards to those things. I think it's more about consistency that they struggle with. Let's see what you guys have to say so long in the comment section. Another observation was how our top order struggled with the left arm swing. Yes, that was a worry because something we see the Proteas as well. As soon as it swings, we struggle, and that's something that they do need to work on. And that also shows the adequacies that we have within the domestic scene. We don't really have a lot of swing bowlers in domestic cricket that they are facing, especially with the new ball as well. We have a couple here and there, but there's no consistent players within each team that are really testing the opposition. So they can kind of, I wouldn't say coast, but they can kind of um, just play a easier game in those in domestic circuits. So it doesn't really on a consistent basis. Except Tristan and Devil in one game, all batters disappointed, said Sadiq. Do you think that Devil Brevis is better ODI player than a T20 player? To be honest, I do. I think that we underestimate how good Dewald is technically. I mean, some of us maybe think that because of the T20 cricket, I think he feels he might be looking to score big quickly, and I think that might not show us his true talent because he's always trying to perform at a quick rate. So I think that maybe doesn't do his true ability justice. I think the longer format will really show us how skillful Dewald actually is. Um, yeah, domestic veterans like Williams really struggled in bowling. I think majority of the bowlers did struggle over here on this tour. I don't think it helped either that the venues were changed just before the flights as well. So the preparation that they did before they left to the tour, it was a little bit, it was changed as well because they changed the venues etc. for the games as well. Then let's move on to the final one, and that was the one that we won to win the series. The third unofficial ODI. We gave Sri Lanka a bit of their own medicine that they gave us in the second ODI. We bowled them out for 172. And it was Gerald Coetzee that took 5 for 48, showing his ability once again. Fantastic player, amazing ability. He's shown it now across all formats for domestic and international. I mean, he played Test cricket already and was brilliant there too. And Sena Mutasami picking up 2 wickets as well. And with the bat, Tristan Stubbs once again putting on an amazing performance. And with help from Senator Mutasami, finally showing his ability with the bat, something that people have been doubting him on with regards to his batting performances. Then comes the tour that was the part of this tour that was most important for me personally. Um, I think that the List A tour for me personally is not necessarily the tour that I was really worried about because um, I think that we only need maybe 1 or 2 positions to be filled in the ODI setup before this World Cup. For me, the thing that was the most important aspect was trying to find some players to join the squad for the tour when India come down here for the Test series. So I think that is something that we need to look at because there are some vacancies in the Test side, particularly the 5 and 7 positions in the Test side, and especially in South African conditions, we maybe don't have those world class players that can really show their ability with the bat as well as with the ball. So that is something that we really need to look at. Um, Nia Falani saying, Coach is genius, asked a lot of Sen and made it clear what the plan was before the tour. It worked perfectly. Stubbo Brevi got overs under their belt. Sen was brilliant as a lone spinner. And that is true. Senator Mutasami was brilliant. And as we come into this particular tour over here, into the first unofficial test match, you can see that Sri Lanka batted first. They put on 325, and it was Senator Mutasami that took majority of the wickets, 7 for 122. But I was very disappointed with the batting performances, particularly from the top order, bar from that in reply, because I mean, we put ourselves under a lot of pressure. We were down 2 wickets already for 22 runs after 7.2 overs. And Matthew Bretsky actually played an incredible knock of 59 of 93, really trying to bat it out and survive. But no one stayed with him. He was literally on his own, and they were bowled out for 131. Once again, we struggled with the bowlers of Sri Lanka that Sri Lanka had to offer. Sri Lanka's reply wasn't that strong, 151. And Mutasami again with another 5 for 53. And 2 wickets from Lazard and 2 wickets from Gerald Coetzee really gave us an opportunity to fight back and actually bowl them out for 151. And then um, it took us only to score really 185, but we lost this match by a massive margin. So there wasn't really many performances in this with the bat to really talk about at all, actually. So it wasn't really a very good performance from South Africa in the first test, and we ended up losing. So it wasn't necessarily something that we can be happy about. But the one aspect that I wanted to see was Senator Mutasami, and when he was given the responsibility that he was given, and he stood up and he performed. So that's one positive that we could take out of the first unofficial test, besides the batting collapses that we had. It was terrible batting performance overall. Um, it's unfortunate that nobody really put up their hand, but Matthew Brzezinski did. Possible shoe-in for that number 5 spot for South Africa, perhaps. We were going to see Calvarena play in these matches, but he was sick, so he didn't get an opportunity. I see. Oh, wait, Lawrence says it over here. I know Calvarena missed the first unofficial test through sickness, but I, however, was a bit surprised in the lack of game time he got. In my opinion, he needed to play majority of the games, even just as a batter too. He did play majority of the games, though. I mean, the list A games, he played quite a few games there as well, I think, didn't he? When I go back and see that. So it was unfortunate performance from the guys. But there was then the second unofficial test match. You know who stood out in that match, but we'll get there. Sri Lanka scored 290, and Mutasami again was on fire with a 6 401. But the rest of the bowlers not showing that consistency, not showing that they can produce in long spells. We got to see 2 overs from Tristan, but not enough, I feel. I think I would like to see more. Sri Lanka then South Africa then replied with 294, and it was Tristan Stubbs 117. I think this was a brave move by Shukri Conrad to put Tristan up at 3. A very good decision to do so, because they really wanted to see how he bats high up the order, given more responsibility, and he showed the coaches exactly what he can do. 117 of 181 balls, 15 fours and 1 sixes. He showed a lot of good control, showed a lot of patience and stability at the crease. And Keegan Peterson converted. He got that 50. But once again, like I said, he gets the 50 in the longer format, but doesn't go on to score big hundreds. And that's what we actually need from him, especially if he wants to be the number 3 for South Africa. And Zubair Hamza getting an opportunity over here, couldn't convert. 46 he got there. And Kyle Verreynne was 38, not out at the end. He didn't really get an opportunity to free himself up and really show us what he was capable of course. So in the end, South Africa were for 294, and then Sri Lanka 327 for 3 declared. Two massive hundreds from their boys. And our bowlers again not coming to the party, but then South Africa just saw out the game. Kyle Verreynne, obviously, and Zubair Hamza seeing out the game for South Africa, and in the end we drew that match. But it was unfortunate that we didn't get to see Kyle in that first game, because as you can see, he was not out in both games. So it was a good opportunity for him. It would have been a good opportunity for him to really show his ability with the bat. But it's unfortunate that we didn't get what we really wanted. But I think that the coach got enough out of this tour. I think that he got to see Tristan Stubbs, which I think is a brilliant opportunity. I think that Rob got to see Deva Brevis in a different position than he's used to, in that 7 role, also with the ball and what he's capable of. Maybe it's an opportunity for him to get into that list A team. It's very possible, or even in that T20 team for South Africa, which I do think he should get an opportunity. But I would gamble it. I would give him an opportunity in ODI cricket as well. Maybe in Australia, against Australia, give him an opportunity there to show what he's capable of and see if he's ready. Perhaps there could be a late sneak in for the World Cup. Some people might think that it's a little bit early, but I don't think so. I think Deva Brevis' mentality and mindset is not necessarily rattled by occasion. So he's had the chances to play under a massive amount of pressure, of course, at the IPL. So he has a taste of that, and also for the SA20 playing under pressure there too. So I think that will give him some indication of his ability with that. Let's see, maybe he can get an opportunity to be part of that squad going forward. Sadiq saying, if Brzezinski can manage string together performances and be a little consistent. He can be a good prospect, good player of spin. We need to fix our batting issues. Coaching in grassroots level needs to improve, and that's very true, Tabo. And we're going to go on to the SN 19 soon because there's a batter over there that I really enjoyed watching play. Now, I know that there's going to be viewers here that probably know a lot more about him, and I would like you guys to tell me about him more when I mention his name. I only got to watch him bat once on this particular tour. We had some rain interruptions, etc. It was also very early in the morning, those games, and I'm in meetings early in the morning, trying to plan the money and business section and business corner of our business, the company that actually basically that I own, that owns Cricket Fanatics ultimately. So your digital publisher. So that's ultimately what. The company that kind of owns Cricket Fanatics, but it's the company I own too. So it's a bit of a catch 22 over there. Not a catch 22, but it's a double-ended sword with regards to that, because I'm hoping to own more publications down the line in other venues and in other categories, not only just in cricket down the line. So that's actually the future for me that I'm looking at. So you're going to be hearing about that very soon. I'll be promoting it on this channel as well for you guys to maybe go ahead and go read what we are going to be offering small businesses, entrepreneurs, and startups down the line. Lawrence Bailey says, I think the knocks Tristan played showed that he's much better all round batter than some make him out to be. He ain't just a smash and grab type of player. And that's what I've been saying for a while, is that Tristan can actually bat. He's been given that responsibility at the Warriors. Robbie and Bakir have given him that opportunity to be able to go and play with freedom. He told me that in his interview. Actually, he's not the best of talkers. I have to say, he's not someone that likes to be in front of the camera. But when I spoke to him, I did get that out of him because I asked him about Robbie and Bakir and what they've given him that's different maybe to some other coaches he's played with. And he did mention that they gave him the freedom. They gave him the ability to be able to go out there and play his natural game and the responsibility to do so too. And I've always known that Tristan Stubbs had a great technique and he was a great batter. I mean, from the days that I watched him at Kamajola Week, I always knew that he had the capabilities of being a batter that can bat up the order. This number 6 aspect came actually as a surprise to me at first because I always saw him, in my opinion, as a maybe as a number 4 batter. But there was a hole in the national side for I think my mic unplugged. Is it fine, guys? It's working. Okay, cool. So he has the ability to hit big as well, and I saw him finish off games at the Kamajola Week, but I also saw him stick it out and bat deep as well for the team. So he could do both. And so that was very interesting for me from a Tristan Stubbs perspective. So yeah, that's the SAA tour. Let's move on. I know that Lububala was in the live chat waiting for the SAA 19 talk. So let's talk about that. It is really a tour that we can learn a lot about. I think more we have to look at individual performance rather than the result of here and see which players are really putting up their hands. Now, Bangladesh won the 5-match Youth ODI Series 3-2. Now, unfortunately, the last ODI, which was played today, they won by 3 wickets. And South Africa never really came to the party with a bat. But I'm going to put up the stats over here because it's important for us to see which batters really performed well for South Africa and which guys I think have shown what they are capable of with regards to that. So I'm going to bring that back up on the screen again. I'm going to say this again though, guys. For me, SA under 19, particularly SA under 19, for me, I don't look at whether the teams are winning or whether the teams are losing per se. I look at how they lost. I do look at that because it tells us a lot about the mentality. But when the team is under pressure, I try to see which players step up, which players show their mettle, and which players really push through that and really perform under that pressure. I look for players that stand out because ultimately, out of every under 19 team, I think we only need to really cherry pick two or three players from each generation to add them within the SAA side and the emerging side, etc. Because it's generational. The way cricket works is players mature, and the previous generations of SA teams, they come through. Like, look at the moment, the players that are coming through at the moment were previous SA under-19 captains, like Tony De Zorzi, for example. Gerald Coetzee is coming through the system as well. We had Vian Mulder come through the system. You don't really need to cherry pick. We have Deva Brevis coming from the previous year of SA under-19. So you can, distance Stubbs is coming through from the SA schools teams, etc. that I witnessed playing back in the day. So we only need to take two or three players from each generation of SA under-19 teams that really need to stand out, and I think that we need to pull them through, because we still got generational talents with Kagiso Rabada. We still got really great players with regards to Deva Brevis coming through. You've got Aidan Markham still there that won the World Cup. So you've got these players that are still there within the setup. So you really just need to fill up those spots so that when they are move on, the next generation can easily transition in, and it's a smooth transition from under 19 domestic into international cricket. Consistently, the talent pool and the tap is open. So that's what I want to see happening with regards to that. So let's look at the way I'm going to look at this is I'm going to look at the high scores to see which players performed. And it will give us obviously an understanding of everything. But okay, before we go to the specific performances, let's just look at the overall run scorers. And there was a particular guy that stood out to me, and that is this guy right here. In every single, David Teager, he was the captain of the side. He performed extremely well in every single game, almost every game that he played. He scored 250s. The high score of 75, and he really batted well when the team was under pressure. I think that was good to see from that perspective. The next best batter over here was Pretorius. He scored 143, 150. And then we have over here Seletswani as well, 107, but he didn't get any 50s. But the batter that I want to highlight, and someone that I enjoyed watching play, and I only really saw one game of these, and that was the match when he opened the batting, and that is this man right here. Let me just get his name up on the screen, and I'm going to be talking about what I saw with the naked eye, of course. It's an eye test and just what I've seen on TV. Estebe Kazide, he stood out to me in this particular match over here, in this third ODI. He scored 53 in that match. He didn't do so well in the other two games, but in that match that I watched him play, I liked his technique. I liked the way he was aggressive. You see, I looked at the way his offside game particularly. He showed a lot of technique and bravery on the offside. And that's something, and he batted at the top of the order, opening the batting, pardon. And I really liked his technique. He's a Black African batter as well, which is a plus for me because we got to see him play with a lot of freedom, and I liked that. He paced his game well. But as the game went on, he kind of threw his wicket away, which is often what we see with young batters. They always tend to throw their wickets away, and I think that he can mature quite nicely. And I liked what I saw in that first match of his. It was something that really stood out to me. But we have to obviously take our hats off to Pretorius as well, I think, because he also showed some decent performances. I mean, 66 in the one match and then 43. He didn't convert that one over there, but he also showed some good performances over there as well. But this Leon Pretorius, what's it? I need to get his name 100% correct. Luandre Pretorius. And I'm going to try to get some of the interviews with these guys as well to get some insight into their mentalities, guys, as well. It's very important that we do so because, yeah. I saw flashes from Juan James as well. He's also a very talented player. But I saw some flashes from him too that I thought was interesting. Liam Alder's in this team, and I think he's got a pro contract now, I think, or he was just picked up. So he's another player that is for the future, but he didn't really necessarily come to the party as we would have liked in this particular series. I thought he would really step up and perform. He didn't do so, unfortunately. Um, but yeah, that's kind of the batters out of the way. Then, with regards to the bowlers, I mean, of course, we know Kwena Mapaka. I didn't speak about Kwena actually, and interesting. Shukri Conrad speaking about Kwena in our latest issue as well. So go and have a look at why he selected him and what he went with. Okay, I'll give you some of the quote over here on the show. He spoke about the next World Cup, under 19 World Cup being in Sri Lanka, and he wanted him to get familiar with the conditions. So I like that our coach is thinking about the future of our future generation as well. So that was also an awesome thing to hear. But you can see what he actually says in the latest issue. He speaks a lot more. So Liam Elder, 11 wickets. He bowled really well on this tour. So that was great to see. And Kwena Mapaka took 7 wickets in 3 matches. He was another great performer. And I think those are the top 3 wicket takers in the tour over there. And what makes it very interesting is that it was Uzaman Rafi that destroyed us throughout this tour. So slow left arm orthodox, the spinner in, doing his job against us South Africans. It's something we need to work on. It's something that we constantly struggle with. And I think that's something that we need to sort out as well, is just playing against spin. Now, we do speak to the S under 19 coach in our latest issue too. I'm also going to try to get him on the show as soon as this tour is done, so that I can have a chat with him. Maketa is a great guy, great coach. I've spoken to him in the past, and I would really like to hear what he has to say about this tour and what they learned about it as well. It's something that I would like to see. Let's see what Tavo says over here. He says Beavers must stay focused and becoming a great player in all formats, especially Test cricket, and not let the money of T20 cricket destroy his love for the Test cricket. Joel and Jaiswal are good examples. Now, I agree, and I think that he does, because from every conversation I've had with Dewald, he's always told me that he wants to play the longest format and his respect for the longest format. He's never actually said ever that he doesn't want to play the longest format. He's always shown his intention to do so. I'm hoping that at the Titans that they're going to give him opportunities to bat somewhere in the order. I don't care where they bat him, as long as he gets opportunities to play red ball cricket. He really needs to take his game to the next level, and I think that he wants to. And I'm hoping that he's going to get a hell of a lot of opportunities for us to see him in red ball cricket. We don't obviously want him to just become a T20 player. So let's just see what happens with regards to Dewald. And we have to take obviously what he says with a pinch of salt as well, because whenever I ask any young cricketer if they want to play four-day cricket, they all say that they do. Every cricketer that I speak to says that they do. I spoke to Riza Hendricks as well at the CSA Awards, and he also spoke about it and said that he also wants to play four-day cricket again. He doesn't want to not play Test cricket. It's still in his radar. As long as he's playing four-day cricket, he wants an opportunity to play Test cricket. So yeah, that's what he had to say in our exclusive interview on the channel. We can see that on the channel. It is available to you guys. Okay, let's move on. The next topic that I'd like to talk about before we get into the India tour is the CSA Awards. Now, I had the privilege of attending the event. It was the first live event after COVID, and I had the opportunity to go. Nikle saying, oopsie. David Teague is from KES. The school keeps on producing national players. Aldi is also from the brilliant player. I really was impressed with David Teague. It always seems to be the captains that step up in that S under 19 team in general, whenever they see these to play, etc. So that was interesting to see. Okay, so with regards to the CSA Awards, I had a great experience going there and experiencing the behind the scenes, etc. But also, I enjoyed. For me, it was mainly just work. It wasn't necessarily a fun time, necessarily from that perspective. Funny story. Let me explain what happened. So we got to the hotel, and I think this hotel needs to sort these things out. And I don't care that I'm exposing the hotel, because it wasn't CSA's fault. at the end of the day, it was the hotel's fault. We got over to the hotel about 2:30, and then we waited for almost over an hour for our rooms to be ready, or almost 2 hours. So we got to the hotel at 2:30, and then we waited around, had to sign, and then they said, no, our rooms aren't ready. Rooms were supposed to be ready at 3 o'clock. We only got our rooms about 4:45, and we needed to be at the venue at 5, and it was quite a long drive from the venue to the event. We had to be at the event by 6 o'clock, and it was a massive rush for everybody to get done so that we could get to the event. I get ready. Finally, we get done. I had to switch between ties and shirts to check which match. And okay, it makes it hard because they asked for green and gold. And I was like, flip, I'm colorblind. I'm not going to find a green tie or whatever, gold. So I cheated. I took whenever we go to test matches, generally speaking, and the test team travels here, the test teams travel here, we normally used to get the tie. So India, we got a blue and, I think it was a blue and green tie. And then for Australia, we got a gold and green tie, basically. So I cheated and I used that tie because I couldn't really find a gold tie that would go with the shirt that I had, etc. At such short notice. So I went out and I used that tie. I got dressed, I got ready, and then I get into the lift, and guess who climbs on, stops, and Andrik Nokia comes in there with his wife. So I'm actually there chatting to Andrik in the lift about how he's doing. We made a couple of jokes. We get along quite well, actually, me and Andrik. So we had a nice chat while the lift was going down from our rooms. And then we went out to the event. Now, before, when we went to CSA events, we kind of had a day gap. So we had an opportunity to actually like chill before the awards. And then sometimes we'd get some of the players walking around and we got an opportunity to chat to them. But this time around, we were there on the day, straight to the hotel, to the venue. And when we got there, 2 separate rooms. One room was a chill room where everybody was chilling. There was a bar, there was finger foods and photo opportunities everywhere. It was beautiful. You can see our behind the scenes video on the channel. It shows you like the behind the scenes of how everything looked. And I got an opportunity to obviously see people as I came in. Enoch was there. I spoke to Enoch, but not about anything specific, just catching up because we haven't seen each other in a while. I got to see Bjorn and stuff. All the players were hanging together in groups, kind of, in a way. And they were chilling around and this chilling at the awards. And then they moved over at like around about. So what happened was they gave us an opportunity to interview players before the awards started. So then I was back downstairs because I was shooting my behind the scenes stuff, and then they said, okay, there's going to be media opportunity. So I said, okay, flip, let me go just in case I don't get anything after. So I went down and I went to interview Hendrik Klaassen. I got Annelie Dirksen, who's a ladies cricketer, very talented young cricketer for the future. And I got an interview with, who else did I get before the awards? It was Hendrik, it was Annelie Dirksen, and it was Marazan Cup I got before the awards. That was a massive one for me, guys. I was very nervous for the Marazan Cup interview because I've never interviewed her before on this channel. And the opportunity came. She was, guys, I'm going to say it right here. Like, it's not often that I meet, when I meet a cricketer that, generally speaking, I haven't really felt nervous around the cricketers in a very long time. After I met after I interviewed A.B. de Villiers, who was my hero growing up, that kind of took away my nerves in a way. So I didn't feel from like meeting new cricketers. It's almost like they're colleagues in my eyes, almost in a way, because I see them so often. We see them around, we chatted after games and stuff. So it's like it took that nervousness away, kind of, in a way. And I had to build myself up to that point, to where it's like it's just a conversation now. It's just work. But standing in front of Marazan, when I was so walk over, I literally felt that like jitters about like nervousness. Like I'm interviewing one of the best players in the world here, and I've never interviewed her before. I don't want to mess this up. and she's such a professional. She's so focused. She's obviously meticulous as well in everything that she does. She was very well dressed. She looked smart. And I started the interview, and to be honest with you, my mind just went blank, and I started asking questions. I listened and I asked questions as it went on. But what an amazing player! What an amazing person! She was kind. She laughed at my stupid jokes. She did everything that I didn't expect. I kind of did expect it because she's a professional, but at the same time, it was just an humbling experience for the way that she just conducted the interview. I mean, I'm not sure if she does know. I don't think she knows who I was or what publication I was writing. I don't know if she knows about Cricket Fanatics magazine, because we are quite new, generally speaking. And I don't think that all the top cricketers will read everything that's said in the media. They kind of try to stay off. So it was an amazing, humbling experience, and she was amazing. She stood around after the interview, and she chatted to me a little bit. And she was just chit chat about like the event itself and how it was, and she was an amazing person, and I really enjoyed that interview, and I was really humbled by that experience. So you can go see all of those interviews as well. Then they had the actual event. Now, to be 100% honest with you, whenever these events are shown on SuperSport, because it's broadcast live on SuperSport, obviously you guys at home will see all the flashiness and the cards and the videos and all the pictures and the images and all of that, etc. But behind the scenes, guys, to be honest with you, it can be quite draining and boring because it's very long and there's massive gaps between each segment. So you guys won't necessarily see it because you have ads and you have all of those things in between to kind of keep you guys busy. But in that period, you're just sitting there and you're waiting. So there was because I knew who the award winners were, I kind of like walked out and I kind of walked out of the room to chat to some of the guys. So I got Bayers and I got Jordan. And while they were taking the outside interviews and images, every time someone won an award, they'd walk outside into the foyer, and there would be a place in the backdrop over there where they can take photos and do their interviews for SuperSport, and then they go back into the rooms again afterwards. So I got like David Miller, took a picture of him, got Laura Wolfa, chatted to her a bit, took a picture for the Instagram, for the gram, as the youngsters say these days. And then I also chatted to a journalist and a presenter from SuperSport that was over there. We had a nice long chat as well. So it was a nice experience from that point of view. And I went back inside. And after awards was done, it was about 10:30, quarter to 11. I think it was around about there. And then everybody went back into the chill room. And that was when I got an opportunity to go speak to some of the guys that I know. So I spent some time with Bjorn and Lisa. I'm chatting to them. Some of the journalists that were there. I got to see some of the dance moves that some people had. But while I'm there, because I don't have a laptop, I didn't have a laptop at the time, I was editing my videos and basically trying to get all my content ready so that all I can do, because my flight was the next morning at 10 a.m. We only left the venue at about 2:30 because the bus didn't come, and the 3 buses came, but they came too early, and then it was all mixed up. So we only got a bus, and so we ended up taking an Uber at like 2:30. Got to the hotel, back at the hotel at almost quarter to. We left the hotel at the venue at 2. Only got back to the hotel like 2:30. So like I struggled to sleep because I needed to be up early for breakfast the next morning and to check out, and then of course also I had to get to the airport, which is quite far from the venue, and then get onto the plane and then fly back home and then go to my cousin's birthday. So it was a whole rush for me, this whole event. I didn't really have that opportunity to like have a breather. I tried to change my flight and etc., but it was too expensive. So I decided just to just leave it as is, and then I came back. So the awards was interesting. You can see my behind the scenes on the channel, and you can also see what we had, all my interviews that I've done as well. So let's just go through some of the award winners so that you guys can see. I want to go through this as well so that you guys do know. As you know, that well-deserved Shabnam Ismail. It was amazing to chat to her. She actually asked. She actually does know about Cricket Fanatics, and she said, And funnily enough, she's like, let's take a selfie because this is my last time, maybe the last opportunity we're going to get to take a selfie. So we took a selfie together, actually. So that was funny. At her request, because I don't ask for selfies ever. I'm not a selfie person. So she won Women's Player of the Year. I think it was a brilliant interview on our channel with her. So please go watch that. I think it was brilliant. Nonkululekelu Mlaba was also there. Nonkululeko, sorry, I fucked that up. It's Nonkululeko Mhlaba. She was there, lefty Mhlaba. She won Player of the Year, T20 Player of the Year. Laura Wolfert won ODI Player of the Year again. And then Mhlaba won again Women's Player of the Year as Players Player of the Year. I was very emotional about that because I've watched her really come through the ranks. It was a very emotional moment for me as well, because to see her as a young kid coming through the system and then watch her actually get there to the highest level and play at the level that she has, it was just phenomenal to see. So I really was. It was really awesome chatting to her. We put that as well on the channel, but it's in our compilation interviews video. Then SA Men's Player of the Year, very well deserved, Anik Nokia. Test Player of the Year was Kagiso Rabada. One International Player of the Year was our captain, Temba Babuma. T20 International Cricket of the Year, funnily enough, was Riza Hendricks, and we chatted to him as well, because all of us, it's crazy that a guy that wasn't even in the T20 World Cup squad actually wins T20 International Cricket of the Year, which is quite ironic. And then International Men's Newcomer of the Year was Gerald Kutsia. SA Men's Player of the Year was David Miller. SA Fans Player of the Year was Senala Jafta, and Best 11 reviewed by KFC was Kagiso Rabada. So that was that out of the way with regards to the awards. So interesting, and congratulations to all the winners. Our article will be in the next issue for you guys to be able to see that as well. Oops. So let's move on to the final topic of today's show, and that is the India tour. I'm excited for this, guys, but at the same time, a little bit disappointed. So as you can see over here, South Africa will tour against India. Let's just see what the chairperson, Lawson Naidu, and everybody had to say with regards to this tour. Cricket South Africa eagerly awaits the arrival of the Indian cricket team and the passionate fans on our shores. This is an important tour for both teams, and I'm really pleased that we will have a full tour comprising all three formats of the game. While South Africa and India boast exceptional talent, and we can look forward to exciting cricket and thrilling matches. The tour also allows us to showcase the best of South Africa, and we have spread our matches across the nation. We share an excellent rapport with BCCI, and I thank them for the support throughout the process of putting the tour in place. Honorary Secretary of the BCCI, Jay Shah, added the Freedom Series is significant, not just because it features two excellent test teams, but also because it honors Mahatma Gandhi and Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela's birthday tomorrow, guys. Two great leaders who shaped our respective nations and the world around them. The Boxing Day Test and the New Year's Test are amongst the most important fixtures on the international cricket calendar, and the schedule has been planned particularly around these marquee dates, which I think is a little bit of a lie. India has always received a strong support in South Africa, and I'm confident that fans will be treated to some enthralling contests with no shortage of intensity. So we play two T20Is on Sunday, the 10th of December in Durban. Oh, sorry, three T20Is. Then South Africa, and then St. George's Park in Gqeberha on Tuesday, the 12th of December. And then South Africa will play India again at the Wanderers Stadium in Johannesburg, Thursday, the 14th of December. Then we go into play an ODI series. We play at the Wanderers first, then we play at Gqeberha again, then we play at Boran Park, and I'll be there on Thursday, the 21st of December. I might go to these two games of a year on Thursday, 14 December and 17 December in Johannesburg. I'm still trying to work out whether I'm going to be going there or not. And then, of course, we play in Centurion and then at Newlands. So the Boxing Day Test in Centurion and then at Newlands, which I'll definitely be at for the New Year's Test. My question is, why only 2 tests? I think that's a little bit irritating in my opinion. Um, I don't really like the fact that we're only playing 2 tests. Um, it's we always used to have 3 against them at least minimum. Um, it seems like there's actually one match shorter in the ODIs and in the test, because I remember the last time India toured when I covered it back in the day. Obviously, in COVID it was different, but before COVID, the series before that, we played 3 tests and we played 6 ODIs. I think, if I remember correctly, not 5. So we have a shortened tour in a way, you could say. But I'm not really happy about the only playing 2 tests. I wish we played 3 tests. I mean, don't we deserve that at least? We play such little tests. Why only get 2? Leclerc saying, I'm not surprised considering that we only played 12 test matches in this cycle of the World Test Championship. BCCI destroying cricket. England will play 22, Australia 20, and India 19 test matches in this cycle, and we only played 12. Bangladesh play 5 more tests than SA will in the cycle. SA should have added another test versus India, considering it's their most profitable series. I think you're talking about Tebede. Yes, Luvalu. I spoke about him earlier on, and I said that's the one player that actually really caught my eye with regards to his game, and that's the S19 you're talking about. Tabo saying 2 test matches against one of our biggest rivals, India. 3 would have been great, but 5 tests is a dream. 5 tests is a dream. 3 would have been great, but I mean, I was expecting 3. I thought we're gonna get 3. I didn't think we're gonna only get 2. It's gonna be interesting to know why we only get 2. I think I'm going to bring on. Maybe I can bring on Enoch on the show sometime, so that we can chat about this and why we're getting such a little test. I don't want to go and criticize anybody because I don't know whose fault it actually is. So I think we need to do something a little bit more research. Maybe I'm gonna chat to Enoch and see if he can come on the show and we can discuss that with him and see what the future is for Test cricket in South Africa, because the cycle has already been released. As I showed you guys, it is on our site. FTP is available on the website over here. You go to FTP as I'm clicking here now for you guys. Let me show you guys on the screen. There's a FTP tag over here on the top. So you guys can go and check out South Africa's future tour programs and see what is happening. Because in August, September, Australia tour South Africa for that 3 T20s and 5 ODIs, which is happening, is around the corner. Then South Africa versus Australia in the first 20. This is split up, of course. Then in September, October, there's this Road Safety World Series in India. And then we play the World Cup, and then we have that tour. And then in February, we play 2 test matches in New Zealand. At least we get 3 against the West Indies. We get 3 ODIs and 3 T20s in July. South Africa tour of the West Indies 2024 as well. Yeah, that's for the test match. That is for the tests and the T20s. And then in October, November again, 2 tests against Bangladesh again as well. Sri Lanka tour of South Africa, 2 tests again, which is, I don't understand. I don't know if it's a money constraint or something that this is happening, but we need to find out what is actually going on. It was rumored here that we were supposed to, but I'm not so sure if it's going to happen or not yet, Chati. I'll try to figure out that. Can't we play outside the WTC? We can. But I don't know how much money we have available to be able to get those tours. It's also because of the SA20 January window as well. Yes, the SA20 is also happening, so that's also a bit of an issue. Is it possible to arrange matches outside the cycle? We can, but it's going to cost a lot of money to do so. I was saying it's the BCCI that make the most money and dictate what happens in world cricket. It's true. They do really control a lot of things that happen in world cricket. But yeah, guys, it's so great to be back. It's really nice talking to you guys again. We are back for the daily show again, so we'll be back again tomorrow as well. Thank you for so many people to come and join us on our first show back again. Please continue and keep this up. Share this with everybody as well. But also subscribe to the magazine, please. It's very important that you do so. This is our main, this is everything. This is the cornerstone of our business. So Cricket Fanatics magazine is where you guys need to go and subscribe. The link is on the screen as well as in the description right now. So please go ahead and subscribe and become a subscriber and read the content there. Our writers really putting a lot of hard work to get those articles to you guys. They go through a lot of trouble. Sometimes they get cancelled on and postpone, and then they switch the person that they're going to speak to and try to interview just before the release, and it's a whole nightmare sometimes. So they put in a lot of effort and a lot of hard work. So please go and read it, and please share it with as many people as far as wide as possible, because it really helps us as a business to stay alive and just keep going over here at Cricket Fanatics magazine. We can't continue doing what we are doing without your help. So please go ahead and help us. And become a patron as well, guys, because that really helps us finance what we are doing over here. It's the patrons that are really actually keeping the show alive. Your patronage goes towards every single patron that we get on board. The money goes towards repairs for the laptops, for lights, for the for the software that we use to be able to run the shows, for the production of the magazine. All the money that you guys spend in the Patreon account goes back into the company, into the business, to keep everything going. So we really need you guys' support over there for you guys to help us out there. And super chats as well in the future, guys. That also really, really helps us with regards to keeping everything going, so that we can be consistent with this, obviously, as well in the future. Okay, so guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We will be back again tomorrow with another daily show. I'm so glad that you guys joined me on the show, and it was really lovely talking to you guys. Don't forget that tomorrow we're going to get Bayer Swanepoel on the show to discuss the tour with us, discuss the CSA Awards and his experience there. And also they had an opportunity, some of the guys, to go to Durban. So I'm going to try to get the guys up into Durban as well. I also want to try to get them on the show to discuss what happened down there, because Riza didn't really reveal anything when I asked him the question. So I'm going to see which guys I can bring on the show for that as well. But we got Bayer Swanepoel tomorrow at 7 p.m. Please come back for that show and come ask him questions. I bring guys on the show live because I can easily just do this and take all the credit and just do the show, record or pre-record it and post it on the channel. But I don't want to do that because I want to give you guys an opportunity as the fans. You guys don't get to speak to these players ever. So it's a nice opportunity for you guys to ask questions to the guys. I bring them live on the show so that you guys can ask them questions, every questions that you want about their career and about cricket and about their life off the field as well. So I bring these guys on the show so that you guys can ask them questions. So please join the shows live and come ask questions. Bring your questions into the live chat, or even leave them in the comment section if you can't join the live show, and I'll ask them out on the show. So go, when you see the placeholder that's on YouTube, go to the live chat and type your questions in there before the show even starts. Then I'll bring them up on the show if you guys aren't able to actually come onto the show yourselves live. And then you can watch it back and see if I've asked you questions and whether the players have answered the questions. I have to warn you though, sometimes if you go too early, the live chats disappears. So I have to keep it within an hour, 2 hours from the show. You can't. Nicholas says CFM is the only platform where we can interact with players live. Exactly, guys. It's the only place you can do so. So please support us, spread our channel far and wide, and give us an opportunity to spread wider so that more people and more fans can get interact on this particular show. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. So great to be back, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow with another daily show. Stay safe. Have a great evening, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.